We all hope to be financially independent someday. However, retirement planning for most people does not sound as exciting. Why should I forgo today's luxuries for tomorrow's comfort? The purpose of retirement planning is to enable you achieve financial independence, at least by the time you retire, whether voluntarily at a predetermined age or mandatorily at age 60. With a clear roadmap, commitment, and discipline, you'll be able to maintain your lifestyle on passive income and live on your own terms for the rest of your life. Access Pension Trust partners workers throughout their retirement planning journey to ensure they are on track to retire with dignity. Visit the Access Pension website to take advantage of our various personal pension offerings to achieve financial peace of mind. Access Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions.
Did you know that over 70% of retirees exhaust their retirement benefits in 3 years? Without a solid plan in place, you risk depleting your savings prematurely, leaving you financially vulnerable in your later years. But your golden years can be better with the right plan. The Axis Retirement Income Plan is here to guide you towards financial security and peace of mind. Convert your lump sum benefits into guaranteed monthly income, tailored just for you. Choose between flexible payout options backed by expert guidance to secure your financial future, because your golden years should be full of peace, not worry. Add a golden glow to your golden years by enrolling on the Axis Retirement Income Plan and enjoy the retirement you deserve. Call 03-0273-8555 to speak to a pension advisor today. Axis Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions.
The Tier 3 Provident Fund and Personal Pension Scheme allow for withdrawals before retirement. Withdrawal from pre-tax accounts before 10 years attracts a flat rate of 15%. To benefit fully, members are encouraged to withdraw after the 10th anniversary. Early withdrawals also reduce the earning potential of your funds, especially if the use of the funds withdrawn does not yield as much as your current investment. At all times, the opportunity cost of the withdrawal should be considered. Unless it is very necessary, keep your funds invested to ensure that you have enough income sources to maintain your standard of living during retirement. Speak to pension advisors at Axis to learn how to stay invested for the long term while meeting your short-term needs. Call 030-273-855 or 080-000-1860. Axis Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pension.
We all hope to be financially independent someday. However, retirement planning for most people does not sound as exciting. Why should I forgo today's luxuries for tomorrow's comfort? The purpose of retirement planning is to enable you achieve financial independence, at least by the time you retire, whether voluntarily at a predetermined age or mandatorily at age 60. With a clear roadmap, commitment, and discipline, you'll be able to maintain your lifestyle on passive income and live on your own terms for the rest of your life. Access Pension Trust partners workers throughout their retirement planning journey to ensure they are on track to retire with dignity. Visit the Access Pension website to take advantage of our various personal pension offerings to achieve financial peace of mind. Access Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions.
Did you know that over 70% of retirees exhaust their retirement benefits in 3 years? Without a solid plan in place, you risk depleting your savings prematurely, leaving you financially vulnerable in your later years. But your golden years can be better with the right plan. The Axis Retirement Income Plan is here to guide you towards financial security and peace of mind. Convert your lump sum benefits into guaranteed monthly income, tailored just for you. Choose between flexible payout options backed by expert guidance to secure your financial future, because your golden years should be full of peace, not worry. Add a golden glow to your golden years by enrolling on the Axis Retirement Income Plan and enjoy the retirement you deserve. Call 03-0273-8555 to speak to a pension advisor today. Axis Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions.
The Tier 3 Provident Fund and Personal Pension Scheme allow for withdrawals before retirement. Withdrawal from pre-tax accounts before 10 years attracts a flat rate of 15%. To benefit fully, members are encouraged to withdraw after the 10th anniversary. Early withdrawals also reduce the earning potential of your funds, especially if the use of the funds withdrawn does not yield as much as your current investment. At all times, the opportunity cost of the withdrawal should be considered. Unless it is very necessary, keep your funds invested to ensure that you have enough income sources to maintain your standard of living during retirement. Speak to pension advisors at Axis to learn how to stay invested for the long term while meeting your short-term needs. Call 030-273-855 or 080-000-1860. Axis Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pension.
Okay. Good morning and welcome to the 2024 Access Pre-Retirement Seminar. We apologize for the late start of the program. Again, so we want to start the ball rolling, and we want to do that by starting with a prayer. So we'll call on our compliance manager, Mrs. Dorothy Hayford, to give us the opening prayer.
Shall we bow down our heads for a word of prayer? Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you so much for today. We bless your name for the gift of life, for the gift of your presence. We are most grateful for bringing us to today's program. We thank you that, Lord, you are making this program a success to the glory of your name. We pray that, Lord, you yourself will see us through, oversee every part of this session, this program, every session of this program to the glory of your name. We pray for insight, we pray for understanding for all our audience, that the purpose for which this program was established will be accomplished to the glory of your name. We are grateful, Lord. We love and appreciate you. In Jesus' name, I pray with so much thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen, and thank you, Dorothy. So we are starting with opening remarks. We want to take our opening remarks from the General Manager of Access Pension Trust in the person of Mr. Pa Kofi Ankuma. So Pa Kofi would want the opening remarks now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mame Kwa. Good morning to you, our participants. So, to our speakers, good morning. Our distinguished guests, our cherished clients, our incoming retirees, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you once again for making time to join us in our annual Access Pre-Retirement Seminar. We are very, very grateful to you for giving us a chance, either directly or through your employer, to manage your hard-earned money and to make sure that you go home as a retiree in quite some comfort. Retirement has been a very scary thing for quite a lot of people. In fact, it explains the reason why in Ghana we have our life expectancy of 64 for women and 63 for men. People work so hard only for them to go to retirement and get surprised by the happenings at retirement. Now, for us at Access, we want to distinguish our clients, our retirees, from any other retiree, and that is why we continue to invest in this kind of thought leadership program to equip you with adequate information and resources to meet this challenging period. Retirement should not be a difficult period for you, but then of course we live in a country where sometimes things can be difficult. In the midst of high cost of living, the cedi continuously depreciating against the USD, you wonder, how are you going to live at retirement? Recently, I was in an engagement and there were people pushing for their withdrawal of their tier 3 pension schemes or provident funds. And I look at them and I'm like, hey, if 90% of your current salary, which you are taking home, is not enough for you, then I can imagine what 10% will do if you take it home now. and how are you going to live when you go on retirement? There's a thing that a lot of people try or refuse to think about during their working lives. Now, if you look at SNIT statistics, SNIT says that over 80% of kind contributors to the SNIT scheme contributes on a salary less than 2,500 Ghana cedis. In the same vein, for the number of people who contribute on a salary of 5,000 cedis, it's just about 5.3%, of kind contributors contribute on a salary less than 5,000 cedis. Now you ask yourself, so if you're contributing on 5,000, and the SNIT is an insurance scheme, how then are you going to be rewarded? On what salary are you going to be rewarded when you go on retirement? It is no fluke why people continue to feel entitled for SNIT to pay them a bit more. If you contributed on a less than 2,500 cedis, in 5 years, you want SNIT to pay you 5,000 cedis. How do they do that? It is for you to make sure that you have adequate resources prepared for you when you go on retirement. So I want to use this opportunity to draw your attention to the need to start planning for yourself. In fact, even when SNIT goes up and beyond what they are doing, I'm sure you've heard in the news recently of the ILO report. If you also trend SNIT's annual report over the last few years, there is a sustainability issue with SNIT. So what does that mean for you? If, God forbid, SNIT is not able to pay your retirement benefits when you are on retirement, how are you going to live? Yes, SNIT may be able to pay you, but there may be some restructuring that we need to put in place to ensure SNIT is sustainable. So retirement really is something that you as an individual, you as a contributor need to take charge of. We at Access Pension, what we try to do is to make sure that, hey, as long as you're a member of our pension schemes, we provide you with the necessary tools, the information to help guide your retirement planning process. Now, today we've gathered resource personnel, experts in their fields from SNIT. SNIT will be here to share some insights with you. From health experts who also talk to you about how you can live comfortably and in a healthy manner at retirement. Of course, health is wealth, not just your retirement pot. So we've gathered people to talk to you about health matters. We've also brought in a retiree to share her experience, how and what you should expect to see or experience when you go on retirement. It shouldn't be too scary. It is, of course, the unknown is always a difficult thing to accept. But once you hear the stories from the retirees, I'm sure you can ask all your questions so that you can also plan. We also have some financial planners around. We will also be sharing how to go about the process in accessing your benefits and products that we have that can help you or can augment your current retirement pot, so that when you go on retirement, it is a smooth journey for you. Beyond this, our team is also, we have on standby some of our team members to assist you with your questions and make sure that you are very comfortable before you leave this program. I want to encourage you, as you are taking part in this program, to note all your questions, engage the speakers, engage everybody, so that for the benefit of those who may be shy to ask their questions, your questions may be answered to benefit them. On that note, I'll say thank you once again for coming to this year's Access Pre-Retirement Seminar, and we look forward to you participating fully. Thank you.
Thank you, Pa Kofi. Thank you for your remarks and for throwing more light on our theme, which is empowering the Access retiree to enjoy a dignified retirement. Okay, now, so moving on with the items on our agenda, we want to take a presentation. And to do us the honors, we have Mr. Cyril Nkrumah. He is with the Corporate Client Relations here at Access, and he will be presenting on the topic, accessing your pension benefits. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and we are very grateful for joining us today. Mr. Pakofi, thank you very much for the introduction remarks. This part of the presentation is basically to help to have members to understand the various retirement options available, how you are able to assess your benefits from the first tier, the second through to the very third tier, and then also how you are able to understand how SNIT pays your benefits. And we'll close the presentation very shortly with what you must do whilst preparing to assess your benefits. So please indulge me in the next 15 minutes whilst we go through this phase of the program for today. In doing so, these are the 4 key items we'll be looking at, from the retirement benefits all the way through to the what you must do by way of next steps. The retirement benefits under the at 766, as many of you have become quite well, very conversant with. We have the tier 1, 2, and 3 benefit schemes, for which the tier 1 is managed by Senate, tier 2 by Access, and those of you who do have the Provident Fund with your employers as well, that is also being managed by Access Pension Trusts. Typically, you would also need to understand that tier 1 is 13.5% of your basic salaries, tier 2 is 5%, and tier 3 being 16.5%, which is the maximum contribution. So for any contributor who is on the program today, who is on all of these 3 schemes, then your pre-tax contribution or your pre-tax deductions every month sums up to about 35% of your salaries that you earn every month. For the benefits, with SNITs, you will typically be having monthly benefits with SNITs, for which we'll be going into the details, what goes into it, and how much you may averagely be able to earn when you go on retirement from SNITs. SNITs also will pay what we call the pass credit to some members. The pass credit is not going to be paid to all members because that's a matter of qualification. So for members who were on the old SNIT scheme, which you were contributing 17.5, and now you are doing 13.5 under the at 766. The difference of 4% is being paid to you as a pass credit, and that will come to you as a lump sum. When you come to the tier 2 benefits are also paid as lump sums per the law. However, Access has a program that we call the income drawdown, which the next presenter will be touching on. So please permit me not to go into too much detail. But basically what that does for you is to give you the opportunity to spread your tier 2 retirement income over a period of time, where on a monthly basis you are able to make drawdowns and also stay invested. So you are able to accrue income whilst you are also receiving payments at the end of every month. For the 3rd tier, we have what we call the lump sum as well, for which most of you will get when you are on retirement. But for the second option, the in-service, the in-service withdrawals are usually permitted by your employers whilst you are in active service. But if you look to your screen, you realize that that is in red. It's in red today for a reason. For many of you on this call who are between the ages of 50 to 60, the anticipation of Access Pension Trust is that in these last 5 years of you preparing to go on retirement, you should be able to mop up a lot of investments. And in this regard, we kindly implore you to not necessarily come in for your Provident Fund from time to time, but for now, allow it grow from now to the 10th year or from now to the last 5 years of your retirement, so that by the time you go on retirement, you have some good amount of money to go home with. And the exit options are also available. So for members who will resign from your employers, members who will be dismissed, or members who may be made redundant, you also have some benefit packages under the 3rd tier Provident Fund. And in accessing your benefits, the tier 1, for instance, the retirement, you could have access to your benefits either at the age of 55 or at the age of 60. At the age of 55, you are looking at what we call the early retirement income. So that would mean that you will not have done the mandatory contributions of up to the age of 60. So once you go on retirement between the ages of 55 to 59, 11 months, that would give you what we call the early retirement income. And that also has some consequences. So in the subsequent slides, we'll see what it means to go on early retirement and what benefits you would accrue, other than if you go into retirement at the age of 60, and what benefits you would also have accrued at that stage. We also have the death benefits for members who may be deceased. We'll make payment to your beneficiaries. So for members who are also on the call who are non-Ghanaians, your benefits will also be given to you anytime you are exiting the country. So these are some of the options available. So now to assessing your benefit income. With SNIT, the general proposition is that once you go on retirement, you need to go to any SNIT branch, preferably the one nearest to where you stay or where you work. You would need to go there and review your statement first of all, and they will take you through the process where they will pick either your SNIT card or your national ID, i.e. the Ghana card, and they will take you through the process. They'll make you complete the form, and they'll give you the required period within which your first payments will come through and how your subsequent payments would also come through. So in assessing your SNIT benefits, we have three key criteria which must be met. The first being what we call the average 3 best years salaries. So for SNIT, what is keenly considered is your contributions that come in. So SNIT would have to take your 3 best years average salary, and then they will do the computation and add it to your pension right, which is the number of months you have contributed. So like we were saying on the issue of the early retirement at 55 and the compulsory retirement at the age of 60. So for someone who retired at between 55 to 59, your pension rights that you have accrued will be lower than someone who retired at the age of 60. So assuming the highest is about 37.5, then if you retire anytime below 60, then your pension right might also be lower in that regard. The effect of you having a lower pension right is that you would also get a lower benefit. So if you were to take two people who were on the same salary, all assumptions are true. They are on the same salary, but one retires at the age of 57 and one retires at the age of 60. Most likely, the benefits of the one who retired at the age of 60 will be more than the benefits of the one who retired at the age of 57, keenly owing to what we call the pensions right. Then, of course, they will add the early retirement factor, which is the age of the retirement. So these put together will give you what you would earn with SNIT. So if you were to look at a typical example on my screen now, we have someone who has 3 best years average salary of 60,000, 58,000, and 54,000, giving you a total of about 162,000, of which if you were to find the average, you will come to about 54,000. The first 15 years, which will give the person about 37.5 pension rights, will also make the person earn about 1,687.5 as monthly pension benefits. You must understand that the monthly benefits are always undertaken through what we call indexation with SNIT, where SNIT will always index your monthly salary on an annual basis by either a percentage or a flat amount, depending on what the actuaries would advise them to do. So rest assured, your benefit with SNIT will also not remain the same amount year on year. By virtue of the intersection that SNIT does, you should see an appreciation of your pension income at the end of every month. If you were to take the last example of someone who has a pensionable salary of 54,000 and has contributed for 20 years, that person has a pension right of about 43.13. And of course, you will see the monthly pension income is about 1,940, compared to someone who did just exactly the 15 years, which was about 1,600 Ghana cedis. If you were to take the very last example, which is someone who has contributed for 40 years in the scheme, and has pension rights of about 60%, that individual has about 2,700 as pension income to go on with. So this is basically the what we call the time factor. So the longer you contribute, the more you earn under the scheme. And the higher your contribution amount as well, the more you also earn under the scheme. For accessing your Tier 2 and Tier 3 schemes, it's fairly very simple at Axis. We have what we call the Axis withdrawal form. So you submit your withdrawal forms to us at Axis. You attach your Ghana card. Once your employer endorses it, they will send it to us. We will pay you. For members who are on the Master Trust schemes, payment is usually between 5 to 7 working days upon receipt of your completed withdrawal forms, where we do not have to come back to you for any other issue. And also, most importantly, upon receipt of your last contribution month. This is a very important factor that must be reiterated. So for members who might retire in October, your last contribution month will possibly come in November. So then, of course, your payments will not be made to you in October, but would have to wait to have the receipt of your last contribution in November before we make payment to you. For members who are on the standalone scheme, payment to you will typically be made within 30 days of receipt of your funds. At Axis, we have a number of service portals which are very helpful to you, the members. We have the USSD code, which is the star 1860. Proudly 18 for when you begin work, 60 for when you go on retirement, to help you to easily recollect. We also do have the mobile app, which we are proudly again to say is a flagship activity within our industry. Our mobile app gives you access to your accounts, where you can simply log in with either your SNIS number or your Axis member number, and you are able to have access to your account. A code will be sent to you. Now on the app, those of you who use very good smartphones are even able to use your fingerprint and your Face ID to log into the mobile app. We also do have our online portal where members are able to have access to their accounts. To what you should do to prepare yourself to go on retirement, we have 4 propositions for you. The first is to obtain relevant scheme information. So be it SNIT or be it Tier 2 with Axis or the Provident Fund, you must ensure that you understand the scheme information that applies. You must also ensure to understand that you have reviewed your last statement to ensure that all your monthly contributions are credited, so that by the time you apply for your contribution, you do know very well that your statement is intact. The second suggestion is to put your funds into your final scheme account. So for many of you on the call, you would have worked with different employers across your working life. At this stage, you are preparing to go on retirement. We keenly advise that you do well to put your funds from your previous trustees into your final scheme with Axis. What this does is that by the time you proceed on retirement, you have all your funds in one lot. And even should a very unfortunate happen where you are deceased, your beneficiaries, most likely than not, will only come to your last known place of work. They may not go back to your previous places that you have worked in. So when they come to your last known place of work, you are rest assured that because you have potted your funds, everything is in one account. Then, of course, we also advise you update your records with us, phone numbers, email addresses, and most importantly, your beneficiary information as well. So our forms are available. You could see your HRs for beneficiary forms and update your records. The last one we advise is to know your goals before applying for your benefits. For some of you on this call, you may have already bought your dream cars, built your dream homes. For some of you on this call, you are yet to do that. For some of you on this call, you go on retirement and still be paying school fees. There may be other serious demands on you whilst you are on retirement. So the understanding is for you to appreciate where you are and know whether to apply for your full benefits, or you should put your benefits under a program like the income drawdown program, where on a monthly basis you have something coming in. For some of you too, because you would have quite sorted out yourself in terms of accommodation, in terms of transportation, you may not have need for all your funds together at once. For instance, you may not need your Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 paid to you in 1 month. Perhaps you could start with SNIT. When you feel you have need for the Tier 2 at a point, you can apply for Tier 2. If you think you want to invest a Tier 3 in any other investment, you could do that as well. So the suggestion is not for you to necessarily draw down on all your accounts at the same time, simply because you are in retirement. Assess yourself, measure yourself up, know where you are, so you are able to make a decision when applying for your benefits across all the 3 tiers we have discussed. Thank you very much, and I'll be happy to take your questions thereafter.
Thank you so much, Cyril. We encourage you to please leave your questions in the chat box. We will take all questions after the second presentation. And we also encourage you to reach out to a friend, a colleague, someone who is sure to benefit from this seminar. Thank you. Moving on, we have our next presentation, and to do us the honors, we have Madam Dinah Ayi. She is with the financial planning team here at Axis, and she'll be presenting on managing your retirement benefits. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, and thank you for making time for this year's pre-retirement session. My name is Dinah Ayi, and I'll be taking us through managing your retirement benefits. I would like to start with a quote, an African proverb that says, "We become wise when our money is getting finished." And this is true. Pension funds are accrued from our Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 Provident Fund schemes. These are monies that we have accumulated over our working years, for some 10, 20, or even 40 years. The question is, how are we able to ensure that these funds would last us the entirety of our retirement journey? And that's why this presentation is important. We all dream of a comfortable retirement, one that we spend time with our loved ones, and also to make time for the things we couldn't do when we were in active service. However, retirement poses some challenges of which we'll be looking at a few. The most important challenge that retirees are faced with is healthcare costs. Speaking with a retiree recently, he mentioned that he spends approximately 4,000 Ghana cedis on medication. His monthly pensions is approximately 3,000. How do we deal with the shortfall? This could be anyone. The second challenge retirees are faced with is inflation. Inflation, with the prices of goods and services rising, with fuel, food, and other utilities, how are we able to ensure that our purchasing power is preserved? The third challenge retirees are faced with is low pensions. And this not only in Ghana. Generally, pensions are low. You have a specific lifestyle that you lived where you were on a 10,000, a 5,000 salary. And now pension has to be reduced. What do you do with the gap and how do you manage? The other challenge is volatility. That's the fluctuations in our currency. This is also another challenge. Last but not the least is longevity. As we go on our knees every day to pray for long life, we also have to make sure that we have enough money for the years that we are praying for. Recently, we had a retiree survey where we asked, what challenges do retirees face? 48% of respondents say that there is indeed low pensions. 42% are of the view that there is demand from society and family. And this is true in our socio-cultural environment, where family, those who go on retirement are seen as family heads, Ibisuan Penyin. And in this case, they are put on various occasions for weddings, funerals, engagements. In all these occasions, they will have to give funds, give out money. If you do not plan with your money, they will tell you what to do with your money. Again, healthcare issue cannot be overemphasized. Plan extensively. The truth is, with aging comes other health issues or health challenges, and that is why it's important that we pay key attention to our health. 33% are also of the view that there is financial pressure from dependents. And it is true because we have some retirees who still have children in schools. How do you care for them with low pensions? 32% are of the view that there is uncertainty in the financial market. And this is true. Recently, during the debt exchange program, most retirees also make some losses because of this exchange. 9.6% have liquidity issues. That is because most retirees would plan on putting funds in investments that is illiquid. So where there is an emergency, they will have to find it difficult to quickly sell off those assets to get cash to cater for their financial needs. It is therefore important that we plan and budget before retirement. The first area we consider is healthcare costs. This is not a time for you to be on retirement and be paying rent. It is very important that before retirement, you plan on where to put your head. The second is on utility, electricity, water, and also maintenance of your home. The other budget is your healthcare costs. This again cannot be overemphasized. When you are old, you need people to take care of you. And if you do not have money, life will seem unbearable. The third is your day-to-day living. And obviously, at retirement, you will still feed, you still clothe yourself, and transportation is also included. For those of us who would want some form of entertainment, it is important that we include this in our budget. Going out, going to the movies, traveling. Then also, for those who have wish lists, some peculiar things that we want to do before retirement or before we pass on, we want to ensure that we budget for these areas as well. So how much is enough? Globally, 70 to 80% of our pre-retirement income is expected to be enough for us. However, in Ghana, our income replacement ratio is expected to be 100%. In our previous presentation, Cyril mentioned how SNAIT calculates our monthly pension. I'll briefly take us through what it says. These correspondents say that 73% of retirees receive less than 3,000 cedis as their monthly pensions. Let's say Kwesi Mensah, who is retiring at the age of 60. Prior to retirement, he has contributed to 360 months, equivalent to 30 years. His terminal salary is 1,500 cedis. That's the last salary before he retires. SNAIT takes into consideration average of your best 3 years' salaries. In this situation, Kwesi Mensah has the first, best, second, and third, 18,000, followed by 16,200 and 14,580. We add these figures and we divide by 3. The average gives you 16,260 Ghana cedis. To qualify for SNAIT benefit, you need to contribute for a minimum of 15 years. This gives you a pension right of 37.5%. So the first 15 years is 37.5%. Any additional year, you are entitled to 1.125%. In Kwesi Mensah's situation, he has worked for 30 years. First 15 years is 37.5%. The other 15 years is multiplied by 1.125. This should give you a pension right of 54%. Now, 54% is multiplied by the average 16,260, and that gives you an amount divided by 12. So his pensions is now 736 Ghana cedis. He's been able to replace his income by 49.12%. In the same light, if he decides to go on retirement at an earlier age, which is 55, he will be entitled to a 33% pension right, making his monthly pensions 442 cedis, replacing his income by 29%. How do we fill in the gap, and how do we deal with these shortfall? It is important that we reduce spending. Having understanding between your needs and your wants is very crucial, because you do not want to spend on things that are not important. The second point is to avoid high-risk investments. At retirement, you may not have enough time to recoup the years or losses in investments. It is therefore important to be very conservative with your investments and know your risk profile to consider before venturing into any other investment. Also, try and stay debt-free by ensuring that you clear all debts you owe anyone, so that at retirement you do not carry on debts. The fourth is to diversify your portfolio. For some retirees, they have plans on what to do with their retirement benefit. So speaking with a retiree recently, she mentioned that she has plans on starting a block factory. She has plans of buying the land, tilting the land, getting people to work with as well. This is a good plan. However, where you have locked up capital in this business, it will be difficult for you to recoup. So it's very important that you diversify, put part in this investment and part into a liquid investment which is easily convertible to cash. Then the most important one is to buy a program drawdown. So a program drawdown is simply spreading your investment across the number of years you would be living. The Access Retirement Income Plan seeks to achieve this goal. The Access Retirement Income Plan is an investment plan that says to convert your lump sum into a recurring stream of income. By this, it ensures that your retirement savings are not exhausted. Also, it ensures that it complements other sources of income that bridges your income gap. Then the last is that it ensures a regular income that has a steady growth. With this, you have every month some money coming in, and also your retirement is covered. How do you join this income plan? The minimum amount to join this scheme is 50,000. 50,000 at retirement. For those who do not have 50,000, you may open an investment account, the plan, and start making a regular payment into this scheme to be able to accumulate the minimum 50,000. You would like to speak with a financial planner with Access Pension Trust to evaluate your financial needs and to know which drawdown plan would work for you. Someone is asking, how do I get this 50,000? It's important for you to max out the retirement tax savings opportunity. And as we know, for our Provident Fund, 16.5% is given as tax incentive for you to do so. The next is save at least 10% of your income. For some people, they do withdraw from their retirement fund, which is not helping. The good thing is, before retirement, it's advisable to have at least 3 income streams, 3 accounts. The first is your retirement plan. The second is an emergency plan. Then the third is a savings account, so that you use the emergency fund for emergencies and you leave your retirement plan for retirement. Avoid withdrawing also from your retirement savings. It's surprising to know that many people withdraw from their retirement savings before retirement. And when the time is due, they find themselves wanting. That shouldn't be your story, because you'd want to have a dignified retirement. It is also important to check your statement and rectify any irregularities. Funny enough, many retirees only check their SNIT benefits or SNIT statements when they are planning for retirement. And you see that sometimes there are gaps in your contribution. So before retirement, please make sure you get your SNIT statements and have them, any irregularities, checked. Then when the next step is to start planning towards your retirement now. In our correspondence shared for retirees, we asked, how did planning for retirement make any difference? Again, 69% says there is peace of mind. 59% also says there is enough income to meet their expenses. The good thing about planning is that you do not need to sell property to meet needs. Personally, I've engaged some retirees who have sold their assets, cars, lands, and houses to cater for their medical need especially. And I would entreat that if you plan for retirement, there wouldn't be a need of selling any assets. Then again, 36% says there is great health care. I like the part that there is great health care. If you plan for your retirement, and this is for a long term, for the long term, 31% also say there is a financial fallback for emergencies. 9% says they even have the option to retire early because everything is in check. 9% are saying they are unaffected by inflation. No matter the storm, they will still sail through. In conclusion, a story was shared in the Bible about a king who had a dream. And in his dream, the interpretation of the dream was that there was a time where there will be plenty, and there will be other times where there will be drought. And the solution was that you plan for the time that there will be drought. 7 years of plenty, 7 years of drought. And at this time, you even forget a time came that you had more. For most retirees, they spend their retirement benefits within the first 5 years. Then after, they start looking elsewhere for where funds or help will come from. This shouldn't be your story. Access seeks to give you a dignified retirement. If you sit with any financial planner and talk to us, we will help you with your retirement plan and how to plan for a dignified retirement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dinah. Very insightful and thought-provoking. Thank you, Cyril, also. So please, we are encouraged to leave our questions in the Q&A box. We'll attend to them all. We've got 2 items more on our agenda. Okay, so that's the Q&A, and we've got a panel discussion, but we want to take any questions that may be available before we go into the panel discussion. So please leave your questions. Okay, so whilst we are waiting for your questions in the chat box, we'll just ask Dinah some few questions to reiterate what she said, some key takeaways. So Dinah, yes, please, kindly join me here. Okay, so in your presentation, now we want to ask, what are some of the key strategies or habits retirees can adopt to ensure their retirement benefits last through the entirety of their retirement years?
Thank you, Ikwa, for your question. So in my presentation, I mentioned that it is important that we try to avoid debt. Make sure that if you have any debt, you clear this debt. Again, it's important for you to buy a program drawdown. Now, this program drawdown seeks to spread your investment returns across a number of years. So if you are to live the next 40 years, this plan can help you to do so. Then also, we are also encouraged to avoid high risk investments, because the higher the risk, the return, the higher the risk as well. And this can erode your retirement benefits you have saved. The last I would like to mention that is also important for you to try and try and stay healthy. This also will not take enough money from your retirement savings that you have put together.
Thank you. Thank you, Dinah. Please don't go away. More questions your way. Okay, so we are asking on your behalf. Dinah, could you walk us through the Access Retirement Income Plan and how it is structured to support retirees in managing their funds over time?
Right, thank you. So the Access Retirement Income Plan is an investment that converts your lump sum into a recurring stream of income. Now, with a minimum of 50,000, you can put in an investment that yields monthly payout. Okay, so based on the investment returns, we look at how much we'll be paying you either monthly or quarterly. The income plan is such that you can, if you do not have the 50,000 cedis, you can decide to put in a regular payment that would ensure that by the time you go on retirement, you would have accrued these 50,000 cedis for this plan. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, that was great. Okay, please don't go away. We've got two more for you. Okay, so I'm asking on behalf of a retiree or a soon-to-be retiree. How flexible is the Access Retirement Income Plan when it comes to adjusting withdrawals or income streams if a retiree's financial needs change? So if there's a change, how flexible is the Access Retirement Income Plan?
So the Access Retirement Income Plan is that flexible that if there is an emergency, you can actually fall back on this plan to make a withdrawal. Again, it ensures that there is a review on every quarterly basis, so that every month, if the investment returns has increased, we can adjust to make increments on your payout. As I mentioned earlier, where there is an emergency, you can actually fall back to make a withdrawal. You can actually make other contributions as well to increase your portfolio. That way, the payout will become even bigger.
Okay, thank you. Last one, then we can release you. So for someone approaching retirement, what is the process for enrolling on the Access Retirement Income Plan? So the process, the steps, basically.
Okay. So with a discussion with this retiree, we will get to know their retirement needs. Now, knowing your retirement needs That helps us to know what plan or drawdown plan we should put you on. The step is you complete the Access Retirement Income Plan form. We set you up on the investment. You set a beneficiary to your account. And that way, if anything should happen, your beneficiaries are entitled to the funds. You make contribution into the scheme, and there is constant communication with you. You are not left alone. Every time there is constant communication to let you know how your fund is doing and any other changes that comes with it. Thank you.
Okay, Dinah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now we'll call on Cyril. We've got some questions from the chat box. Okay, Cyril, so we've got a question here. The person is asking, how do inflation and the cost of living affect my pension? And are there any built-in protections?
All right. Thank you very much for this very important question. Yes, indeed. Inflation, anywhere you find yourself, will surely affect your income benefits under the pension you have with us. However, the good news is that at Access, the investments we do have over the years shown that we are able to make our way through the storm. I think our returns over the years have been very fruitful. And I think apart from the year 2022 and last year, every other investment year we've had in Access, we've always outperformed inflation. So the good news is that as much as inflation does have the power to affect your benefit with us, the investment returns we also do offer have always outperformed inflation. So we are proud to tell you you are in very safe hands. So be rest assured your investment benefits when you go on retirement, you'll be very happy going home. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cyril. So the next question, are there tax implications on my pensions and how can I minimize them?
All right, thank you. I would have said a general no, but let me, for tier 1 and tier 2 tax benefit, there are no tax issues. I think this question is coming from someone who has a provident fund and wants to particularly know whether the 15% tax will be applicable upon retirement. The answer is no. When you go on retirement, you do not need to meet the 10-year anniversary requirement for the provident funds. Once you're on retirement, we pay you your benefits without the 15% being applied. Thank you.
Okay, on to the next question. So this person is asking, if I have my tier 2 benefit with a fund manager other than Access, can I transfer my funds from my current trustee to Access pension at the time of retirement?
Yes, this is exactly the advice we had to offer today. But instead of doing it at the time of retirement, the best position is to do it even before you go on retirement. At least by 55 to 60 or 50 to 60, please ensure you put all your funds into your final scheme account. That is the advice we offered today. So that by the time you go on retirement, all your accounts are in one place, and when you apply for benefits, you only come to your last known scheme account, and all your benefits will be paid to you from that account. So please do not wait till your very last time of retirement. Do it early enough so that you ensure that all your funds are potted and your account is truly reflecting what your contribution has been over the years. Thank you.
Okay, Cyril, thank you so much. We'll call on you if more questions come. Thank you very much. Now, there's a question here. Dinah, I believe you can help us. So the person is asking, how much is the minimum lump sum for enrolling on the Access Retirement Income Plan? I believe you mentioned, but it would be good to hear it again. So how much is the minimum lump sum?
Okay, thank you. So the minimum lump sum is 50,000. However, if you have more, even the better. You may have 1 million, 5 million. We would like to help you plan for your retirement. It's a long journey, like I said. The times of hard times will come. However, within the first 5 years, you may want to put the money into an investment that would yield some returns at the same time, providing safety and liquidity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinah. Okay, so another one here. Are there any changes, Dinah, sorry, this is for you. Are there any charges on the emergency pay withdrawals from ARIP? That is the Access Retirement Income Plan. Are there any charges on emergency withdrawals?
Okay, thank you for your question. There aren't any charges on the withdrawal. However, given that you're making a huge withdrawal, you need to give us a prior notice so that we make funds available for payment, but there aren't any charges. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dinah and Cyril. Okay, so please, we are still encouraging you. The program is in session. Leave your questions so that we can address them all duly. Thank you. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which would be a panel discussion, and we'll be discussing navigating the retirement transition for a fulfilling life after work. So that's the topic again, navigating the retirement transition for a fulfilling life after work. So we'll regroup shortly for the panel discussion. Thank you.
We all hope to be financially independent someday. However, retirement planning for most people does not sound as exciting. Why should I forgo today's luxuries for tomorrow's comfort? The purpose of retirement planning is to enable you achieve financial independence, at least by the time you retire, whether voluntarily at a predetermined age or mandatorily at age 60. With a clear roadmap, commitment, and discipline, you'll be able to maintain your lifestyle on passive income and live on your own terms for the rest of your life. Access Pension Trust partners workers throughout their retirement planning journey to ensure they are on track to retire with dignity. Visit the Access Pension website to take advantage of our various personal pension offerings to achieve financial peace of mind. Access Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions.
Did you know that over 70% of retirees exhaust their retirement benefits in 3 years? Without a solid plan in place, you risk depleting your savings prematurely, leaving you financially vulnerable in your later years. But your golden years can be better with the right plan. The Access Retirement Income Plan is here to guide you towards financial security and peace of mind. Convert your lump sum benefits into guaranteed monthly income, tailored just for you. Choose between flexible payout options backed by expert guidance to secure your financial future, because your golden years should be full of peace, not worry. Add a golden glow to your golden years by enrolling on the Access Retirement Income Plan and enjoy the retirement you deserve. Call 03-0273-8555 to speak to a pension advisor today. Access Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions. Did you know that over 70% of retirees exhaust their retirement benefits in 3 years? Without a solid plan in place, you risk depleting your savings prematurely, leaving you financially vulnerable in your later years. But your golden years can be better with the right plan. The Axis Retirement Income Plan is here to guide you towards financial security and peace of mind. Convert your lump sum benefits into guaranteed monthly income, tailored.
List here. I'll start the introduction with our Honorable Madam Grace Hamidu Musa. She is a retired staff of Talu Ghana Limited. Madam Grace, could you kindly give us a wave? Okay, so next to the left of Madam Grace, we've got Mr. Gideon Amweni Che. He is with us here at Axis. He's an investment strategist, so you can bring all your investment questions to him. Gideon, kindly give us a wave. Our next panelist is Madam Jemima Ofori. She is the Deputy Public Affairs Manager from SNET. And last but definitely not the least, we have Dr. Caleb Junu, Senior Resident from the Geriatrics Clinic at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Thank you once again, our panelists. We are honored to have you. Okay, so we'll delve right into the thick of the discussion. Madam Grace, I'll start with you, please. Okay, so according to the Retirement Planning and Preparedness Survey, the top 3 challenges retirees face are low pensions. That is actually about 49% of the sample space. Demand from society or family, that's 42%. Health, that forms at 37%. So these are the top 3 challenges other retirees shared with us. So please, we are asking, are these your observations as well?
Thank you for the question. Yes, I have observed the same thing. With the low pensions, quite a number of my mates complain that their pensions are very low. And like the gentleman on the financial information said, most people are getting less than 3,000 CDs per month. Now, imagine trying to live on 3,000 CDs a month. So yeah, I hear it all the time, and I thank God that is not how much I get. I get a little more, but even still, it's very difficult. A lot of my mates are getting supplemental income from maybe siblings who are doing better, or children who are abroad and can send them foreign exchange to change into CDs. As you know, now it's a field day trying to change dollars, so you get more CDs. You know, so yeah, that's a huge problem. The pensions just don't match the cost of living at all. And then when it comes to societal demands and family demands, you would think that people would be more sensitive to the fact that you are now retired or quote unquote retired, and so they should leave you alone. No, it does not happen that way. This seems to increase, actually. Apart from all the funerals and birthdays and outdoorings, yes, and weddings that you are invited to, and you have to give contributions or a gift or whatever. You know, there are other people that decide, you know, you will be their meal ticket. Okay, so that demand is also there. Then the health also, yes, huge demand on the health. So, yeah, I agree.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for that. Well, you mentioned the health. I was actually going to follow up to ask if there are any peculiar challenges you have faced personally. Thankfully, you do not necessarily face what the sample, the three main challenges they mentioned, but like you said, you can never have too much at retirement.
Right.
So are there any peculiar challenges that you have faced since you began your retirement journey?
Peculiar challenges. Yeah, what I paid into Access Pension, which, by the way, I really thank God for Access Pension, because
Thank you for the endorsement.
Yes. That was the best decision I made, actually, to put my Providence account proceeds into Access Pension. So thank you, Access Pension.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, I was sitting down minding my own business, and I got an inheritance together with an aunt, and she decided to take me to court. And so now I'm faced with court costs, plus I need to pay her 50% of the value of the house that my father left. So yes, that's a peculiar challenge that I'm facing.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can imagine. That has just reduced my pension considerably.
Yes.
My financial advisor will tell you, I mean, she tried to stop me from taking that withdrawal, but I had to.
Yeah.
So now in my situation, I worked in the US most of my life, so I have a pension there that I'm getting. So now, if someone didn't have that, can you imagine?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they'll be, like, really needing a lot of help.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow, thank you so much,
You're
Madam
welcome.
Grace.
You're welcome.
That definitely is a typical example of the unknown that can happen during our retirement. So, okay, I'll jump the gun a bit. I'm not coming to you. Let me go to the other female. Well, we are still in October. Awareness is on us, the ladies. So I'll come to Madam Jemima. Okay, so 83.25% of the respondents indicated that they rely on pensions as a source of retirement income. What can be done to optimize net pensions?
Okay, thank you. We usually say this all the time when we have engagements with stakeholders and our members and clients. So we preach this gospel according to SNET, that you should, if you are a self-employed person, imagine the kind of retirement you would want to have. If you want to be having holidays or vacations in Mauritius and all that, because it's your own job, you want to put in an appreciable amount as contributions because you own your life, you are your own CEO. But if you're an employer listening to me, you also want to ensure that you consolidate your staff's allowances into their salaries, because we don't pay net contributions on allowances on incomes. So it's income generating earnings. Okay. So what the person takes home is what you contribute net on. These two are enough to maximize options for people who want to get a greater part of, let me say, a very sound pension. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam Jemima. Okay, so let me move forward. Dr. Caleb.
Hello.
Okay. So let me start with this. How do you stay, or how does one stay healthy and active at retirement?
Yeah.
Just open.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think by now with all what we've heard, we have really been faced with realities of life, and that pension is a reality. The interesting thing is that by the time we hit pension, and in our case it's 60 years, a lot of the physiological reserve of the body is declined, and a lot of health issues start showing up. So no wonder we've been told that the survey gave us about 30% or over having health issues, and that's the reality. To stay healthy, first of all, what we will encourage is that once you hit retirement or even before retirement, just go to the hospital and report. Doc, by God's grace, I've hit retirement, I've come, check me up. So have a thorough checkup. What it helps to do is that it gives us an idea of the health challenges you have. We are able to itemize them and then give you a plan to see how best we can help you along the way. The earlier we catch some of these health conditions, the better at managing it. So you have to do a checkup. Generally, being physically active, having a mental soundness, stimulation, having social engagement, stress management, nutrition, all these things go to help. So for the physical activity, for instance, you should be able to have a routine for yourself. Mind you, you're on retirement now and your usual routine is changed. So you need to build a new routine. And this new routine is imperative that you include exercise. Simple exercise, something like walking is very good. It's very good. So see how you can build in walking. What walking does is that it strengthens your muscles, strengthens your bones, and it increases blood circulation to all the various parts of your body, including the brain. The other thing you can also do is to stimulate your brain, challenge your brain. The fact that you're on retirement doesn't mean your brain is gone to sleep. No. What can you do to do that? Thankfully, now we all have these smartphones, as was mentioned earlier on. You can download some of these games, puzzle games, and play them. It helps. The other thing you can also do is to involve yourself in things like gardening, can also help. Writing and reading is a very good one. Recently, I met a man on retirement, and he showed me the number of books he was reading. I said, wow, I have no excuse. Yeah, so reading sharpens the mind and makes the mind very active. The other thing you can also do is that at this stage, one of the health conditions which probably may come up has to do with the fact that cognitive decline. So reading also helps to delay that. The other thing we'll really encourage you to do is to look at the lifestyle bit. Alcohol issues, smoking should be off. We've mentioned exercise, social engagements, have a network of family and friends interacting with one another. It really helps your emotional well-being. Sometimes when you're on retirement, what happens is that there is social isolation and you tend to be on your own. It doesn't help. It may rather tip you to depression and all other mood problems. Hobbies are also very good. Probably during your working life, you really dreamed of probably playing golf or in the rest. You couldn't make time for that. But now that you're on retirement, you have enough time. So this is a time for you to now go back to your dreams. Bring the dream up. Recently, a client came in. In fact, he actually came to the consulting room with his friends. And they are on retirement. They all came for medical checkup. I was impressed. And one of the things they do is that every now and then they meet to play badminton. And I said, wow, that was good. Keep it up. So it also helps to have that social engagement, family and friends, network, and all these things. While we're able to do all these things, it will go a long way to make sure we are in good health. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you. So I'll move on to Gideon now. Let's get into some investment space here. Okay, Gideon. So according to this same survey, investments ranked second after pensions as a source of retirement income, with 34.01% of respondents indicating that they depend on their investments. So with this background, what factors should be considered when choosing an appropriate investment vehicle?
Okay, thank you very much. So it definitely shows how important investments are when you get to the retirement stage. And unfortunately, not a lot of people even have it to rely on. To talk about things to look out for, there are a lot of things, but I'm assuming that we are looking at the average person, like the Senate report has stated. Because of the importance of investments, the first check should be the regulatory license and requirements. Any investment vehicle or security that you invest in, the investment sector is highly regulated, and so they need a license to operate that investment vehicle. If that is not there, it's a straight no. I think in Ghana here, and most importantly recently, we've seen a lot of people enter investment vehicles that were not licensed, and we've all seen, the issues that have, been coming from that. So the regulatory requirements are essential. And let me just take you a little deeper into how you can do this. It's not difficult. We have regulatory bodies or agencies. We have the SEC, we have NPRA, we have this other one. So SEC, NPRA, we have NIC for insurance. All these regulatory bodies are there. We have BOJ. They all have websites. They keep posting licensed investment vehicles and companies there. Just go there, check. They also sometimes come up with names of institutions that have been caught in the regulatory environment space operating without the appropriate license. So keep an ear on regulatory issues and make sure you are investing in a vehicle that meets all regulatory requirements. The next thing, which is very important, is also the risk profile of the investments you are entering. And before I even talk about the risk profile of the investment vehicle, we should be able, or you should have been able to assess your risk profile as a person. Sometimes people have the appetite for high-risk investments, but they don't have the capacity to take up those risks. If you need help to assess your risk profile, we professionals are available. We can help you do that. The risk profile of the investment vehicle should match your personal risk profile. So we are looking at, when we talk about risk profile, is the fluctuation in the price or value of the investments you are entering. Some investments, we know investments about a loss and gain. There are some investments that have the profile of going down at certain times, coming up, and that is quite regular. So those investments, we rate them high risk profile. We have other investments that are more income driven. They don't have the risk of going up and down, but even that, no investment is risk free. We can say that it has a minimum level of risk. So check the risk profile of the investment and make sure that it aligns with yours. The other thing is time horizon. We've all, heard how important investments are and how modest pension income is. So you need something to rely on. You need something which you can quickly fall on. And when we talk about the liquidity of investments, think about it this way. Whatever you are investing in, can you quickly convert it to cash without having to face a depreciation or a drop in the value of it? So assuming, let's say, you have invested in a house, and that's what you plan to sell when you need money. When you need money immediately, you might not be able to have the time to look for a buyer who will give you the value you are looking for. And so you might end up taking a cut on the price that you intended to get. And that can be very challenging. So when we talk about liquidity, is it something you can quickly convert to cash? And in Ghana, in our environment, we quickly look at treasury bills. Let me use that as an example. So treasury bills, you are investing or borrowing money to the government over a period of time. So let's say 91 days. Before the 91 days, you don't have access to your money. So assuming you've done 91 days and you have a medical emergency and you quickly need to convert or you quickly need the money, you are not going to get the promised value that you get if you are able to wait for 91 days. So it means you are going to incur a discount on the value of it. That is all we are talking about. So be very mindful. Make sure you are investing in a vehicle that has can be quickly converted to cash when you need it. And then lastly, I'll talk about returns. Returns goes with risk. Let's look for something that is conservative. So I'm not saying don't look out for good returns, but be mindful that if the returns are so high and not normal, then there can be something risky about it. So these are some things that we can look out for when we are looking for investment vehicles. Thank you.
Thank you, Gideon, and thank you once again to all our panelists. I'll take the next set of questions, and I'm coming back to you, Madam Grace. Okay. So, what do you wish you could have done better before retirement?
Before retirement, well, I wish I had started planning my retirement earlier, like in my 20s. And I believe you retirement companies need to target that age group because of inflation and because, I mean, things are changing so rapidly. And you know, with the younger generation, they will expect to be maybe driving cars that fly, you know, when they are retired. So, you know, it's just important to get that done, to start it really early. Yeah, have them thinking of, you know, putting that money away and forgetting about it so that maybe when they're 50, then they can see what they got. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's one of the things.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do a follow-up, but I think just to point out that your advice is very sound because it's actually in alignment with the law. The law allows for a person to have a retirement account even from age 15 years. So Madam Grace's advice is very sound. The earlier, the better. Thank you, Madam Grace. So following up, what can people do to prepare adequately to enjoy, to have a comfortable and enjoyable retirement? What can they do?
Okay, so like I mentioned, you have to have adequate savings. And I believe Diana mentioned 3 streams of income at least. The Bible suggests you need 8 streams of income. Okay, so you need multiple streams of income because one of the problems you encounter is cash flow. Cash flow becomes an issue because, I mean, let's face it, when you're working and you need cash, what do? Get the ATM card, go to the ATM, because in 30 days you'll be paid. And you're expecting that money, right? That money will come. But now, in retirement or in pension, you have a fixed amount of money, which you have to budget and plan. So you can't just, off the top of your head, go to the ATM all the time. Otherwise, you run into issues. So having many streams of income and will ensure good cash flow for you. Okay, so that's one of the things. Also, have a plan for your social life, like the doctor was saying, you know, having recreation with your mates, keep you happy. You know, you talk about the old times, it makes you feel young and everything. You fool around with them and joke around, and then you go back home. That's really healthy for you. don't isolate yourself because you get depressed. And then also do not become sedentary. Hopefully, in your younger years, you have developed a routine of exercise, so that will take you into the more advanced years. You cannot just develop that in your retirement. That doesn't happen. You should have developed it already, okay? And also, please, young people, please note that you cannot eat the same way when you're young after you get older. You have to be sensitive to the changes in your body and in your physiology. Okay, so please, people entering the mature years, please note that you cannot eat the same way as you ate when you were young. Otherwise, you will end up with some health issues. Yeah, so that was something I had hoped the doctor would mention. You have to be cognizant of what you put in your mouth. Yeah, and then the other thing too is what he said. You have to be reading. Read a lot, because that sharpens your mind. In fact, start writing. If you haven't already, you should start writing in your 20s, actually, okay? Because everybody has a story to write, and it doesn't matter how old you are, okay? And then there are a lot of games to sharpen your brain and keep your memory sharp and all that sort of thing. I'm into organic gardening. There are a lot of natural herbs and plants that God has made for us. For example, go to cola. You have to chew some every morning. It helps with your cognitive health, your memory, etc. Okay, I won't say anymore.
Oh, please do. Wow, that's a wealth of information. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Grace. We'll definitely come back to you, but let me jump to Madam Jemima again. Okay, so Madam Jemima, what is the criteria to qualify for monthly pensions, and what happens to my benefits if I don't meet the criteria?
Okay, so it's very simple. The Act 766 spells out that the qualifying conditions are the following. You should be 55 years and above to qualify. And then you must have done an aggregate of 15 years of contributions, which is equivalent to 180 months. So we are saying an aggregate because someone will be working and there will be some gaps in between their working lives. They stopped and then did other jobs. It does not mean that the break in there will not allow you to get. So we picked, as one of your resource persons spoke, we picked the very best years. We will rather term it as the best 36 months and not the best 3 years, because if you want to say best 3 years, then we are going according to, but we go in there to pick the very best months that will get to 36 months that will qualify. So minimum 180 months. You should be 55 years and above. Then you are on monthly pensions. If you are not able to contribute up to 180 months or 15 years, as we said, your money is not lost. So people have this notion that my money has vanished, I can't retrieve it and all that. No, it will still come to you in a lump sum. So you couldn't meet that criteria, but you're above 50 years. So we lump all the contributions you have made with us, and then we add an interest to it, and you take it home once, and you won't be able to enjoy like our mommy here is enjoying. Another is that this kind of pension, people are not so much aware of, and I want to use this platform. We have a form of pension we call the invalidity pension. So if you are working and it happens that you get an accident or you are sick, not because you think you are sick so you can't work, but you've been declared by a medical doctor that you are incapable of working anymore, the law allows SNIT to pay you something we call invalidity pension, irrespective of your age. So, doctor here knows that we have young people who are blind, 36 years, can have their arms amputated. It doesn't matter. So the law says as long as you have done 1 year of contributions and the last 3 years prior to your sickness, your accidents, once you are declared incapable of working, you submit that medical report to SNIT, and then SNIT will also assess you, because we have a SNIT medical board team that would want to verify the medical report you brought, because people are condoning and conniving with their family and friends, doctors, because this kind of pension sounds sweet, that I have to be on pension as young as, say, 20 years. Okay, so the youngest invalid pensioner we have on our payroll is a 31-year-old who has been on the scheme for the past 3 years and is enjoying pension till he dies or till when a miracle comes and he gets better. But if you are unable to meet these requirements and you are down there in the grave, your money is still not lost. Your family will have to come and report your death officially with an evidence, so that whilst you were alive, you gave us a list of nomination. So I personally will call it the SNIT will. It is a will because nobody will know what you did until your death. So once your family reports, we go into our archives and pick the names of what Mr. A or B said, and then those monies are paid to the eligible nominees. So that's it.
Wow, that's very good to know. Thank you, Madam Jemima. Okay, so Doc, please, I'm coming back to you. Okay, so what are some of the common sicknesses people struggle with at retirement? Let me add a follow-up, and how can these be avoided?
Thank you very much. And Madam Grace has really made my work very easy. Really complimented me very well. Thank you. Yeah, so in fact, the period of retirement is very interesting. Aside the genetics and all that go into it, we can also look at that period as an accountability period, in that your lifestyle in the previous years tells on you at that particular time. So that if you've been smoking all along and you feel you are okay because your body is robust, the physiology is robust, at that time, it'll be accountability time. So coming to talk about the sicknesses that show up at that period. And one of the common ones has to do with cardiovascular diseases. And by that I mean things like stroke, heart diseases, and a lot of these are caused by hypertension. In fact, that's the more reason why I said early on that, yes, you may know the disease conditions you have, but once you still go on retirement, take a step to the hospital for a general, thorough medical examination, and then we can proceed from there. The other disease which is common had to do with cholesterol issues. They all feed into the cardiovascular diseases. The other one which is also common is diabetes. It's also very common. The other aspect has to do with the bone issues. So you see our mummies and daddies coming over and they say, my waist, my knee, my shoulder, today body pains here, tomorrow body pains there. Very common. Osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, and the rest. Due to hormonal changes, the bones itself become brittle, become porous. The other thing has to do with the wear and tear. So whilst we're young, throughout life, we're moving up and down, doing all these things. Other joints get wear and tear, and during the retirement period, it shows up. So bone issues also very common. The other issues that we tend to overlook is the mental health issues. Very, very common. And we tend to see some of our older folks exhibiting things like forgetfulness. And we tend to say, oh, this is part of aging, it's part of the retirement. But we don't have to look at it that way. Please come to the hospital and let's assess. We have issues like cognitive decline, cognitive impairment, and to the extreme, it can be things like dementia. Is very common. So please, if you see your older folks exhibiting certain behavioral changes, come to the hospital and let's assess. It's not a normal part of retirement or a normal part of aging. Depression issues are there because a lot of people at that point you have to cope with your new lifestyle. All of a sudden, your routines have changed. The financial issues we talked about leads to anxiety, worry. How am I going to pay this rent, school fees, all the other things we mentioned early on. And not everyone has the very good coping mechanism to handle these things. So it's very important that we also take note of all the mental challenges that are there. They are really, really common. In fact, if you come to the hospital, you'll be surprised to see these changes there. Other things have to do things like the various cancers are also there for the men, prostate issues, colorectal issues, they tend to show up, breast issues, and the various forms of cancers. So there is a reason why we still lay emphasis on the fact that once you hit retirement, even though you feel healthy, hallelujah, but still come to the hospital and let's screen you for all these disease conditions because the earlier, the better. So physical issues, mental health issues, cognitive issues are diseases which are very common for us to take note of. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. And maybe before you pass, a quick one on maybe general tips on how some of these issues can be avoided.
Yes, how this can be avoided. In fact, like I said early on, how we live our lives, preventive health, very, very important. Like Auntie Grace said, at that stage you can't eat anyhow. But I want to still shift it early on that at the early stages, we don't have to eat anyhow. The diet is very important. Reduce salt intake, reduce low fat, reduce your fat intake, increase your hydration. We don't take enough water. At least every day, if you've not done well at all, at least 3 liters, 5 or 6 sachets of water, or just hydrate yourself. It goes a long way to help you in the future. Exercise. Exercise, very important that we need to really exercise. Maximum 5 times in a week, 30 minutes in a day. If you're able to do that, keep up with it. It helps to build your cardiovascular system. So diet, exercise, and taking care of your mental health, when we're able to do these things, it really helps us to keep in good health and to avert to a very large extent some of these conditions. The other aspect has to do with compliance to medications. A lot of people, by the time we get to this stage, yes, the disease is there, it's been discovered, but how compliant are we to taking our medications? It's very important. Sometimes people come and for a whole lot of reasons, they don't take their medications, and the next time you see them is in the emergency room. That shouldn't be. It can be avoided. And one of the phenomena, because of the work I do, taking care of the older adults, one of the things we want to prevent is falls. Falls, very important, because if an older person falls, it has a whole lot of consequences. Your bones are not strong as a young one. You can have fractures, hip fracture, for instance. Once you develop it, if God does not intervene, that will be your end. And it really makes you become dependent on others and the rest. Now, I realize that from the work I do, it gets to a point that your balance is not as it was before. And for that matter, you need assistive devices, walking stick, Zimmer frame, and the rest. And our old folks don't like it at all. Yes, it's well understood. It's well understood. They'll say, oh, people will say, I've become an old man, I've become an old lady, old man, they'll be laughing at me and the rest. But let me use this platform to say that once it's needed, it's a way balance between the risk of falling and using the stick let us laugh at you. We'll joke with it, all right. But if because of that teasing, you forgo the stick, the walking assistive device, and you happen to fall, the consequences is no joke. So compliance to medications, compliance to advice, compliance to directives from your healthcare professional is very important. And I believe when we are able to do all these things together, it will go a long way to help us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doc. Yes, please.
Thank you, Doc. So I'm all for preventive health. So women, don't wait till you are diagnosed with breast cancer. You have to start having your mammograms early. Now, I guess in your 30s, you can have mammograms and you can screen for various other cancers. For men, I know you are very afraid of going to the doctor and you'd rather not because of the area in question. But the astronomical numbers of people ending up with prostate cancer should scare you enough to go in early. I'm always talking to my brothers and my male cousins, every male that I know. I ask them, are you checking your PSA level? Are you checking it? You know, and some of them haven't heard it at all. I'm like, you go and get it checked. Don't take it for granted. So please, you have to start early because with cancers, the earlier they find it, the better your chances of beating it, right? And then also supplements, Doc. People need to take supplements. The supplements help with joint lubrication, okay, like vitamin E and flaxseed oil, capsules and all that, and then calcium. Believe it or not, we live here, but we actually need to take calcium and D3. So yeah, those are just a few that I would mention. So, and you don't start it when you get to 50. Please start it earlier so that you get into your advanced period with good muscle tone, you're exercising, and please, and you keep your flexibility, because flexibility and movement is key to not falling. Because as you get older, your depth perception changes. So you can fall easily. I've fallen a couple of times, okay, because where I thought the step was not actually there. But that made me wake up. But you see, I'm very active, so I can fall and just get up. Some people fall and can't get up. So that's the difference. Okay, so.
Thank you, Madam Grace. I think we should add Associate Doctor to your title. Thank you so much. Okay, so Gideon, I'm coming to you. Okay, so Gideon, still on the survey that was conducted, so it says that considering that 25.38% of the respondents identified investment loss as a significant challenge, should retirees still pursue investments, and if so, why?
Thank you. Of course, the answer is yes. We should never give up investing. And the reason is, you see, we invest because there are certain risks we want to prevent. Just like our mom and doctor have spoken about preventive health. You are trying to prevent certain risks at retirement. Losses can occur, gains occur. The fact that you incur a loss shouldn't prevent you from stopping those risks you are working against. Now, what are some of these risks? We've all heard how modest retirement incomes are. And at the retirement stage, you have unfortunately increased needs and demands against shortfall in income. Now, if you don't have this investment there because in your younger stages, you were incurring losses and you gave up, how would you be able to survive in this time? Some people can decide that, okay, instead of investing, they will be saving their monies somewhere without necessarily adding value to it. But there again, our mom spoke about cost of living. Cost of living keeps going up, and your savings will be lying down, not growing. You are not protecting, you are eroding the value of your money. Because at retirement, when your needs and wants and demands increase, that will not be able to help you in any way. So the straight answer is yes, losses can occur. Let's try and mitigate them. But most importantly, we shouldn't give up on investing.
We shouldn't give up on investing indeed, even in retirement. Okay, thank you. I'm going around the panel again. We've got more questions. So I'm coming back to you, Madam Grace. Okay, so how does one adjust to retirement? Let me add a follow-up quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, and okay, better still, let's hear that first. How does one adjust to retirement?
Well, you have to have a good mindset, okay? I don't know if you've noticed, but I do not consider myself retired. Okay, I don't think of myself retired because actually that's a concept that is not from God. God did not mean us to retire. How do you retire from life? Okay, but I understand, in the, with the world order, you have to retire at some point to give the chance to the younger people to take over. Okay, because in your 60s, those are the years of strategy. All right, those are your years of strategy. You have to learn, strategize the rest of your life. What about if you live to 120? In your 70s, that's the time of leadership. Okay, that's leadership of nations. Okay, you can tell by our president. He's in his 70s. Okay, in your 80s, you're actually fathering nations. Moses was called at 80, and look what he did. So I do not think of myself as retired. So, but for argument's sake, you have to have, adequate, preparation, like, it should be a welcome, like it's time for yourself. Because when you're working, you don't actually have time for yourself. And that also falls back on your God-given purpose. Okay? Hopefully when you're young, you know what your purpose is. And in everything that you're doing, you're walking your purpose. You are fulfilling your purpose. Some people at 60 now see that, oh my goodness, everything I've been doing is not actually my purpose. And hopefully by then, you appreciate the time to actually do what God brought you here for, to solve the problem that He brought you here to solve. Okay, that is my mindset. All right. So you can also plan a trip, somewhere. It doesn't have to be abroad. It can be to the Elmina castles, although, that can be depressing. But, go to Kakum, the forest, and there are some waterfalls all over. There are a lot of places to see within Ghana, change your environment. It gives you a new leash on life. Structure your day, like the doctor said. You're used to some kind of structure. So structure your day where it includes, exercising, working on your mental health, and you should have some hobbies. Maybe sewing. Yeah, right. Organic gardening. Yes, I love organic gardening. Sewing, dancing. I dance. And other things. Most importantly, mentor the younger generation, because you have a wealth of experience and knowledge that you don't really know that you know until you're around them, and so you can impart a lot to them. So that's very enjoyable, I must say. And when they come back to you and appreciate you for what they've learned from you, that is really fulfilling. Yes. So, okay.
Okay, let me add my follow-up.
I have a lot to say, but
Yes.
I'll stop right there.
That's very good. I'm soaking everything in myself.
Good.
Yes. Yeah, so the follow-up to that would be, sorry, just a second. So how do you handle stress and anxiety at retirement? How do you handle them?
One of the things I didn't mention, you need to be active in your fellowship. Okay, I'm very active with my fellowship. I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, and I have a routine in the morning. You start the morning with your devotions. I have a group that I belong to, and we discuss all kinds of things. We have prayer and support of each other, and that usually starts my day and sets my day, and also, sets the week and the month. But of course, things happen that can make you distressed or sad, and I know maybe in our generation it's not so common. I do have a counselor that I talk to, okay? And I would recommend that everybody have a counselor. And it's not necessarily your best friend, because your best friend will be biased. And it's not necessarily your husband or your spouse. They will be biased too. Sometimes they can make it worse. So, so have somebody that you can have counseling with, and then also know what your coping mechanisms is. Doc mentioned that. That's very important. So if you need to go for a walk to clear your head, or if you need to, some people like to go shopping, go shopping. I like to cook, okay? Not necessarily to eat it, but to cook and then give out to people, because that's therapeutic for me. Or I go to my garden. Yeah. Yes. So that's how I de-stress and handle stress and anxiety. And because I exercise, my endorphins are always high. I learned that long time ago when my son died. And I didn't want to go on depression medication, so I started working out, and that's what helped me. So since then, I know about that. So that's what I recommend.
Thank you for your recommendation.
You're welcome.
Thank you for all you said too. Okay, so I'll move on to Madam Jemima. Okay. I think we'll do well to wrap up with the questions, but Madam Jemima, so if someone wants to access their benefits from SNIT, how do they go about it? How do they know they're qualified, and how do they go about accessing?
Very
benefits?
simple. So SNIT handles three main kinds of benefits. That's the old age pension, or the invalidity pension. Both of them are pensions. And then we pay the survivor's lump sum. We call it survivors because you, the beneficiary, are a survivor to the deceased SNET member. Okay. Otherwise, if you are an immigrant who worked here and you are going to your home country permanently, we also give you what we call the immigration lump sum. So all of these three benefits simply means walk into any SNET office or call our contact center number, that's 0302-611-622, and then we start and you get your benefits. It's very simple. Yeah.
Very simple indeed. So walk into any SNET office or call
our contact center numbers.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Doc, another one for you. So according to the survey that was conducted, 43.65% of respondents said that they spend between 10% to 19% on healthcare. So now the question is, why is healthcare cost becoming a major concern for the average Ghanaian?
Wow, that's an interesting one. Why is the healthcare cost a major concern? Yeah. In fact, I'm not surprised by these statistics because on the face value, I realize in practice that for some months now, clients or patients come in really complaining, doc, the medicines, the labs, it's getting expensive, and that's just for some months now. So it means something must be going on. So I think that generally the economy is really having a toll on healthcare costs. The other thing has to do with the fact that the healthcare financing is not adequate, so that financial support for the hospitals, especially the public hospitals, is not enough. So as a result, families will now have to pay out of pocket. And that's the reality. So that the various forms of insurance will cover to a certain extent, but still there has to be a level of out-of-pocket expenditure. And looking at the family budget, how much can we allocate to healthcare? And remember, at this time, all the various chronic conditions tend to show up, going for regular checkup, so that if you're having to live with diabetes or hypertension, depending on how your control is, every month you have to go to the hospital, transportation to the hospital, medications, labs, and with the challenges with the economy and all that, healthcare financing to the hospital is not adequate and all that. So it's not surprising. In fact, it's a major challenge to families, I must say, and something will have to be done about it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, too. Indeed, something would have to be done. We're going to take our last set of questions, but before we do that, Gideon, I'll come to you. Before we do that, we are encouraging you to still keep your questions coming in the chat box, and we will duly address them all. Okay, so Gideon. So as a retiree, what investment options are available or for those approaching retirement, either retirees or those about to go on retirement? What investment options are available?
Okay, so for investment options, we have a lot, from collective investment schemes that are run both by pension institutions and asset management firms. We have other securities on the market, but I would like to talk about what I mean to do as a retiree before investing in these collective investment, because everybody has a different risk profile, different financial condition. There are several other factors. The most important thing is make sure you do an assessment with a professional before investing in them, because these assessments, whether it's developing a financial plan which will assess your current financial status, your goals, your surplus income, everything concerning your finance will help us determine which one to recommend for you. So generally, I mean, there are several investment products, but I won't sit here and say that go and invest in collective investment scheme, treasury bill, or bonds, or make sure you talk to a professional to help you do the correct assessments, and then they can recommend a suitable one for you. At Access, we do it. When you come, we can engage you in a financial planning process where we would label your goals well. We'll help you determine your current status. Are your goals realistic? Are your resources enough to meet them? We'll put all on paper for you and then discuss investment solutions. So please talk to a professionals. There are lots of products out there that can be suitable for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gideon. Please don't pass it yet. Let me just ask this as a follow-up. So, is it too late to start planning for retirement? And if someone has some few years, especially if someone has some few years, is it too late to start planning?
Okay, so it's never too late to start planning for retirement. Income that you would need to survive in retirement is very important. And before, I mean, if you didn't start early and you would have to you are closer to your retirement and you have to do something, the assessment will also help. But importantly, the goals, your retirement goals, are what has to determine what to do. Whether you would have to look for an additional source of income by engaging in either a part-time work to get, some income, would all be determined by your retirement goals. So we look at your retirement goals, and sometimes what we've had to do is to let people reduce their goal aspirations. If you are looking at maybe living on maybe 10,000 income a month, and you have some needs or wants in there that we feel you can discuss and take out, we do that. If you have to look for extra source of income, we discuss that with you. And so it's never too late to start planning for your retirement. At any point in time, there are also suitable solutions, investment solutions, to help you do that. So let's not stop working towards the risk that we are investing to prevent. And I read an interesting quote today. It says, not having to worry about money is just like not having to worry about dying. So if you don't have to if you don't have to worry about money, it gives you peace of mind. And so at any point in time, let's work towards our retirement. It's never too late. Thank you.
Thank you, Gideon. And just to say, at Access, we assure you peace of mind. Okay, so this is the last set of questions. Like I mentioned, let me go to Madam Jemima. Okay, so what can one do to ensure that there are no issues with processing their SNP benefits when they retire? I believe you might have mentioned some already, but it would be good to hear.
I would say again, it's very simple. We are talking about planning towards retirement. So do not wait till you are 54 years or 59 years, 11 months before you want to start checking. Before you want to start checking your statements of accounts with us. We are going technological, so you don't even have to go and form long queue in any SNP office to print just a statement. You go online. Once you have updated your SNP email address with us, you can go to our app, our website. Even dialing our USSD code, *711*9#, you are good to go to check your statements. There again, I'm saying that when you go and check these statements and you find some anomalies, you quickly draw our attention so that when the time is due for you to process these benefits, you won't be told, go and come on Wednesday, come on Thursday, can we get your previous pay slips? It makes the process very long. Yeah. So check your statements regularly, update your addresses with us, email, residential, a postal address, every address. And then I will personally advise that you update your SNP will. Very important because you can die after retirement and your family would have to come and assess your benefits. So ensure that you put the right beneficiaries. Thank you.
Emphasis on the right beneficiaries. Thank you, Madam Jemima. Yes, please kindly pass on to Doc. Doc, my last question would be, so still on the survey, 35.25% of respondents who indicated that they have planned for their retirement stated that they can afford better health care. So from your experience as a doctor, how do some of your patients manage to comfortably cover their health bills?
Yeah, thank you very much. So I meet categories of patients. And so some will come in happily, keep up the smiling face, and they move away. Others will come with complaints, and that tells a lot. So, still emphasis on preventive health. Right from the word go, let's take preventive measures. All things being equal, is going to avert lots of huge spending on your health, and that is money saved for you. The other thing you have to do is to sign up with the health insurance schemes. So we have the National Health Insurance, and these days we have a whole lot of private insurances. So some of my clients are on the National Health Insurance, others also come with other private health insurance. And I've met one or two who, interestingly, 80 years, but still comes to the hospital smiling. Why? Because she was privileged to work with a company that offers post-retirement health benefits, 100%. And I said, wow. So I used to tease her that, hey, I need to stop my work and work at your end. Yeah, so that can also be done. Then aside that too, we also need to take personal responsibility in saving up towards our health. So basically, these are the categories of clients that I have. Another set had to do with, because of the social systems that we have, you have help from siblings, as Auntie Grace mentioned earlier on, siblings, friends, and loved ones also come in to help. But that one is not reliable. We don't have to put our hopes on that. So let's take up the responsibility, preventive health, health insurance, national one, the private one, and save up towards your own health. And I think that when we put these things in place, it will help us.
Thank you so much, Doc. Okay, so I intentionally reserved the last question for our real-life experts in the room. Madam Grace, so our last question will be, how much will be enough practically for someone on retirement?
Wow, that's a difficult question. But you can start by making your budget, a realistic budget, to see just what your overhead will be when you retire. Well, actually, what it is now before retirement, and what you think it will be after retirement. And sit down and speak to your financial advisor at Access, or actually you can start at your job. At Talo, I was fortunate enough to have a young man, Nathan Addo. He advised me on how much to put in my Providence account, because every year when we review, investments and all that, the finance department will send someone to talk to you to find out, from payroll actually, to find out what you want to, how much money you want, what percentage you want to be put in your providence account. And I remember distinctly, I said the minimum. And, and he said, that's only 5.5% or 6%. I said, yeah. I said, I need my money now. And he said, oh, Auntie Grace, I would recommend 11%. I said, 11%? He said, yeah. And that was the best advice I ever got, because I don't have the years of working here. I only worked 8 years here. And so my Providence account with Talo salaries was substantial when I hit 60. So thank you, Nathan Addo, and thank you, Access, for also coming in and telling me that they could manage the money for me, because I was in a dilemma as to how I would do that. So that helps a lot also. I hope I've answered the question.
You have. Thank you so much, Madam Grace. And thank you to each and every one of you. Again, our panelists, we've got Dr. Caleb Jinu from the Geriatrics Clinic at Kolebu. And we've got Madam Jimaima Ofori from SNIT. She's the Deputy Public Affairs Manager. We've got Gideon Amweniche. He is an investment strategist here with us at Access. And our real-life expert, Madam Grace Hamidu Musa. She's a retired staff of Talo Ghana. She's not retired, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you so much for making time for us. It's been a pleasure, and it's been a real learning experience. Thank you so much. Okay.
I apologize for my phones. Wow.
Okay. Thank you for staying with us. All too soon, we are coming to an end. But before we do that, we have two questions from you. I would want to address them quickly. I think, Madam Chimaima, I would kindly call on you because these questions are addressed to you. Okay, so someone is asking, the lump sum from SNIT, is one supposed to apply for it, or will it be paid once you are qualified?
Okay, thank you. Let me say this, that prior to 2010, SNIT was managing both payments of first year monthly pensions and then lump sum. But under the Act 766, the current law, SNIT will just pay you your monthly pensions, and then your employer will have to be responsible for your second tier funds. That is your lump sum, because your employer would put you on payments of second tier. So what we would do is that we'll be responsible for your first year, and then we'll give you something we call the payments advice. The payments advice spells out the monthly pensions, what you are going to get every month. And then you take your lump sum from your private fund managers. But the payments advice we give you in SNIT will serve as an evidence that you're on retirement. So you take it to MPRA or the specific fund manager of your employer, and then you've given your one-time payment, which is a lump sum. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So one more question, Madam Jemima, the last one. So someone is asking, is there a difference between someone who retires at age 55 and one who retires at age 58?
Yes, there is a difference. So in calculating pensions, the previous speakers have mentioned, we look at the best 3 years or best 36 months, your average of that. We'll look at your pension rights, as Dinah mentioned, is basically the number of months you have contributed. So you have a pension right of 37.5 minimum if you have done the 15 years, up to 36 years and more, say 40 years, which should give you 60% of your salaries to get as pension from us. But we also will consider what we call the age reduction factor. Okay, so for example, if you are taking, you want to take your pensions with us at age 55, your pension right is reduced to a 0.6%. Okay, so as you go ahead, it has a 0.75% up to age 59. That will be how it will be reduced. But if you are 60 years, you get your full pension rights calculation. So that's how it works. Obviously, age 59 and age 56 will not be the same reduction factor. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Jemima. That will be all for now. Thank you so much. And again, thank you to all who joined. We've made it thus far. Before we wrap up, we just want to remind you of the various ways that you can reach out to us here at Access. So we've got our digital channels. We've got our USSD short code, star 1860 hash, star 1860 hash. We become legal adult at 18, we retire at 16, just to help remind us. We've got our mobile app on Google Play Store or the iOS Store. You can also reach out to us through our call center on 0302 738 555. 0302 738 555. You can also reach out to us on our toll-free number, which is 0800 001860. 0800 001860 on MTN. We've got our live chat on our website. You can visit www.accesspension.com and you can chat in real time with an agent. You can also reach out to us via email on aptl@accesspension.com. Last but not the least, you can also reach out to us or engage with us on our client web portal, cap@accesspension.com/CRM. cap.accesspension.com/CRM. Thank you so much for making time for this year's pre-retirement seminar. We began with God, and so we definitely need to end with God. And so we'll call on the compliance manager, Mrs. Dorothy Hayford, to give us the closing prayer. My name is Ikwapein Bedu, and I have been your moderator for today. Thank you.
Shall we kindly be upstanding even as we take our closing prayer? Father, we thank you so much for the great success of our program. We are grateful for beginning with us and even bringing us up to this time. Thank you for great insights, very refreshing knowledge, so much worth of information. We are very grateful. We ask that even as we leave to our various destinations, you grant us the grace to walk in the light of all that we have learned, that in future we will be testimonies of all that we have learned and continue to guide people to walk on this path. continually lead us in the way everlasting, and let your will be done in our lives always. We love and appreciate you. In Jesus' name, I pray, receive my thanksgiving. Amen.
Did you know that over 70% of retirees exhaust their retirement benefits in 3 years? Without a solid plan in place, you risk depleting your savings prematurely, leaving you financially vulnerable in your later years. But your golden years can be better with the right plan. The Axis Retirement Income Plan is here to guide you towards financial security and peace of mind. Convert your lump sum benefits into guaranteed monthly income, tailored just for you. Choose between flexible payout options, backed by expert guidance to secure your financial future, because your golden years should be full of peace, not worry. Add a golden glow to your golden years by enrolling on the Axis Retirement Income Plan and enjoy the retirement you deserve. Call 03-0273-8555 to speak to a pension advisor today. Axis Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions. Did you know that over 70% of retirees exhaust their retirement benefits in 3 years? Without a solid plan in place, you risk depleting your savings prematurely, leaving you financially vulnerable in your later years. But your golden years can be better with the right plan. The Axis Retirement Income Plan is here to guide you towards financial security and peace of mind. Convert your lump sum benefits into guaranteed monthly income, tailored just for you. Choose between flexible payout options, backed by expert guidance to secure your financial future, because your golden years should be full of peace, not worry. Add a golden glow to your golden years by enrolling on the Axis Retirement Income Plan and enjoy the retirement you deserve. Call 03-0273-8555 to speak to a pension advisor today. Axis Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions. Did you know that over 70% of retirees exhaust their retirement benefits in 3 years? Without a solid plan in place, you risk depleting your savings prematurely, leaving you financially vulnerable in your later years. But your golden years can be better with the right plan. The Axis Retirement Income Plan is here to guide you towards financial security and peace of mind. Convert your lump sum benefits into guaranteed monthly income, tailored just for you. Choose between flexible payout options, backed by expert guidance to secure your financial future, because your golden years should be full of peace, not worry. Add a golden glow to your golden years by enrolling on the Axis Retirement Income Plan and enjoy the retirement you deserve. Call 03-0273-8555 to speak to a pension advisor today. Axis Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions. Did you know that over 70% of retirees exhaust their retirement benefits in 3 years? Without a solid plan in place, you risk depleting your savings prematurely, leaving you financially vulnerable in your later years. But your golden years can be better with the right plan. The Axis Retirement Income Plan is here to guide you towards financial security and peace of mind. Convert your lump sum benefits into guaranteed monthly income, tailored just for you. Choose between flexible payout options, backed by expert guidance to secure your financial future, because your golden years should be full of peace, not worry. Add a golden glow to your golden years by enrolling on the Axis Retirement Income Plan and enjoy the retirement you deserve. Call 03-0273-8555 to speak to a pension advisor today. Axis Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions. Did you know that over 70% of retirees exhaust their retirement benefits in 3 years? Without a solid plan in place, you risk depleting your savings prematurely, leaving you financially vulnerable in your later years. But your golden years can be better with the right plan. The Axis Retirement Income Plan is here to guide you towards financial security and peace of mind. Convert your lump sum benefits into guaranteed monthly income, tailored just for you. Choose between flexible payout options, backed by expert guidance to secure your financial future, because your golden years should be full of peace, not worry. Add a golden glow to your golden years by enrolling on the Axis Retirement Income Plan and enjoy the retirement you deserve. Call 03-0273-8555 to speak to a pension advisor today. Axis Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions. Did you know that over 70% of retirees exhaust their retirement benefits in 3 years? Without a solid plan in place, you risk depleting your savings prematurely, leaving you financially vulnerable in your later years. But your golden years can be better with the right plan. The Axis Retirement Income Plan is here to guide you towards financial security and peace of mind. Convert your lump sum benefits into guaranteed monthly income, tailored just for you. Choose between flexible payout options, backed by expert guidance to secure your financial future, because your golden years should be full of peace, not worry. Add a golden glow to your golden years by enrolling on the Axis Retirement Income Plan and enjoy the retirement you deserve. Call 03-0273-8555 to speak to a pension advisor today. Axis Pension Trust, your reliable partner in pensions.